Guys, is divorce ever the real option? Or is it just an easy way out? On this episode, I'm going to share some raw truths about marriage, broken vows, and the fight to rebuild. You do not want to miss this one.
Preacher, author, Gentleman Society, founder, and volunteer. I got a heart of the people for 30 years, man.
Hey guys, welcome to Heart of the Matter. We're your hosts, Scott and Marcus, and today we got a great guest with us. Dr. Washington, he's got 20 plus years of marriage counseling, and we will be going over what he has wrote in his new book. So be ready.
The title of this book is Men Want a Three-Piece. I'm just going to let that marinate for a second. If you would. I'm interested, but because of the implication, give me a little bit more about it, because I'd be like, no, I don't.
I promise you do.
I just want my piece.
I promise you want a three-piece.
Go ahead.
Right? So a little bit of backstory. So I've been a marriage counselor now for just over 20 years. Right? And so I've seen a lot of different people come through. Sometimes we do marriage training. Sometimes we do premarital stuff, and we do a lot of counseling. Something has gone wrong. And over 20 years, you notice something. And, I've been married now for 30, and I consult with those who've been married 50 and 70 years. And I remember a guy telling me, I was at like a IHOP or something, and he had been married like 60 years. And I always ask the same question. Hey, what's the secret to being married 60 years? And this dude said, young man, you want to know how to be married for 60 years? He said, I got the foolproof plan. As long as the Lord allows you to live long enough, this is going to work every time. I'm dialed in. He said, come closer. I'm like, this is getting good. He leaned in. He said, the secret to being married 60 years is to not get a divorce. Right? And we both laughed about it, right? And over time, that's probably the most solid thing I've heard. Because you see enough marriages, you realize pretty much every marriage is going to go through something very similar. There are people who are married for a month and get annulled. People married for 10 years and get divorced. People who are married for 50 and stay together. And then that 20-year, we've been married 20 years and get a divorce. And when I first got married, I had never seen a good marriage. I didn't know what that looked like. So I interviewed over 1,000 couples, and they fit in all of those different things. People who got divorced right away or annulled, people been married 60 years, like, and everything in between. And what scared me was the 20-year marriage that they got a divorce. I'm like, what happened after 20 years? And the answer is nothing happened after 20 years. Something happened after 4 years, and they just couldn't get over it. People waiting for the kids to grow up or something, right? But the crazy part is the marriage that was 60 years old went through the same thing.
Yeah.
It was a response to it. Like, we're in this thing. We're staying together, right? They didn't bounce. And so after years of talking to these couples, it became very apparent that they have no idea how to understand each other. No clue. I spent a lot of time explaining to men, hey, when your wife brings you a problem, she's not bringing you a problem. She just wants you to listen. I know it sounds like something you're supposed to fix. It's not. And the issue she's talking about probably isn't even what's bothering her. She came home talking about the job is jacked up. What she's really thinking about, she's 34, might be too old to have a baby in a year. Like, not even close.
Where's the correlation there? I'm sorry, I missed that.
And there is no correlation, right? And so, I talk to men, I'm like, think about when your wife comes and talks to you, it's kind of like a plane that's hovering around the airport. She's in the air. The issue is on the ground, but she's still hovering. And a lot of times we go to try to fix that problem up here, right? And what really happened is that the boss started tripping. And one of the reasons why she thought the boss was tripping is because this other woman came in here and she's trying to tell me what to do. And she's younger and the whole nine. And after all of that, now she finna go off on leave because she's about to have her baby. And now she's 34 with no baby. And her doctor just told her last week, if you're going to have a baby, you need to do it quick because 35 is going to be a geriatric pregnancy. But you arguing up here before she got here. You talking about, well, why don't you just quit your job? It wasn't nothing to do with the job, bro. You got to wait till she land that thing. It might be a couple hours before she land that thing. And here's the thing. She might still not want an answer. She just wants you to listen, right? The women in the crowd right now, like, hey, man, speak, brother. That's what but men, we see it as a problem to fix. So we tell men, whenever she sits down and talk, ask her, hey, you want me to solve this problem? You want me to just listen? If she say, just listen, just nod. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, that's awful. Master that. and she'll be like, oh, you're such a great communicator. Well, and the thing is flipped for guys. So like what I explain to women is that men are simple, like overly, like comically simple. It's the reason why a woman can come to me and she says, I want to get marriage counseling, but my husband doesn't want to come. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Come by yourself. I guarantee you, if you do what I tell you to do, by day 3, he's showing up without you asking. Well, you don't know my husband. I don't have to know him. He's a guy, right? Yeah. If you do what I tell you to do, he's going to be showing up by day 3. Never fails. Never fails. A guy can't come to me and say, hey, I'm having problems with my wife. My wife don't want to show up. Bro, I'm sorry. She go, who knows what the issue is? Like, there's nothing I can tell you to go do to your wife that I know for a fact she's going to like that. There's nothing. Oh, bring her some flowers. She may not like flowers, and she may associate those flowers with you did something wrong. Like there's nothing I can tell you to do. Even if you go apologize, you're apologizing now, but there's nothing I can tell you that's going to work foolproof. However, on the man side, I can pretty much bet there's some things, right? And it comes back to the book, Men Want a 3-Piece, the ultimate guide to understanding your man. And the answer is actually right here on the cover. Okay.
Feed him.
That's one of the pieces, right? I call it a piece of chicken. Something to eat, right? Peace in your life. You want a woman that brings you peace. You don't want a whole lot of ruckus at the house and arguing. You don't want that. You do all of that out here. I want to come home to a peaceful house. Amen?
Amen.
And then you want a piece of something else.
Is that more chicken?
No, it's not more chicken.
No.
It's a piece of something else over there. Right? You know what I'm saying? So if you do those 3 things, a piece of chicken, something to eat, peace and serenity in the house, and a piece of something else, that man is pretty much all. Yeah, I wish y'all could see it. All the men in here, like, yeah, that's pretty much it. When I was doing research for this book, I would go talk to women and I would say those things. And they were like, oh, that's not true. Da, da, da. I said, okay. In every situation, I said, we got men around here that I don't know. I haven't stacked the deck. All different kinds, old, young, rich, poor. We would go say the same thing to everyone. Number one is that men are simple. Every one of them were like, yeah, pretty much. Pretty simple. And men, if you do these 3 things, they'd probably be satisfied. Yeah, I'd be satisfied. To a man, not 99.9, 100% of the men said this. And the crazy part is that 100% of the women 100% that I was presenting it to in that context disagreed at first. And I'm like, if you stay with your disagreement, when every single man we talk to is saying the opposite, something's wrong with your communication, not theirs. Right. And so the book is full of, I'm telling you, if you want to take care, if you want to understand and take care of your man, this book is like full of practical stuff. It's easy to do.
So this book is written to women.
To women.
This isn't a book for men.
This is a confirmation book to men. What I tell women is read the book, confirm it with your man. Ask all the way through the book. Go ask him, is this true? Right? How about this? Is this true? And the whole book is like that.
So to play the other side, because my co-host was over there, and he was saying that someone might say that your previous statements could be taken sexist. Is there another book written to men to try to help them?
So that is the one question I've got from so many women. And my answer to that is, if I could write a book to teach men how to really understand women, man, I'd have $1 billion day one. I'd be, because we'd all buy it, right? I have some suggestions, but man, dealing with your woman is a very delicate thing in a couple of different ways. So number one, I tell women, if a man liked a foot rub at 16, he gonna like a foot rub at 60. At any time. It's not, unless something happened to his feet, it's not gonna change.
I'll take a foot rub.
See, a foot rub, right? Nobody in here is gonna give you a foot rub, bro.
Not from anyone in this room. Let me clarify.
And that's my point. You know, we good and grown right now. It's like, I would like a foot rub, right?
Yes.
It's real simple. And to illustrate the point, whenever we're doing conferences, to illustrate this, I will pick out a couple and I will ask a woman, okay, what do you wish your man would do more of? And it's almost always communication or some type of being more romantic. And I will break it down like, okay, well, how about flowers and candy? Is that yes. Okay, cool. I will take out a 50. I say, hey man, I'm gonna give him $50 so he can buy some flowers and candy for you on the way home. Every time they're like, no, that don't count. I'm like, but you said that's what you wanted. No, but I said, because what you really meant was you want him to have you on his mind. That's not what you said, right? I said, compare and contrast. I said, if that man said he wanted a foot rub, and I said, hey, we got a professional masseuse up here. We're going to take your girl back here. She's going to learn how to do a foot rub. We'll pay for it. And then at the end of the day, she's going to come back and give you a foot rub. He's going to be like, sign her up.
Praise God.
There you go. There's an example that we use. And I will take a couple and I'll say, hey, imagine y'all on the first date and y'all go to a party, which some of them stop me right there. I wouldn't go to a party on the first date. Just follow me. You know what I'm saying? Too many details. We go to a party on the first date and you turn to him and you say, I'm tired. I'm ready to go home. I said, what does that mean? The overwhelming majority of women tell me that it means I'm tired and I'm ready to go home. I look at the man and say, and if you believe that, that's when you go wrong. Watch this. I said, could it mean that you're not having a good time? She said, yeah. I said, could it mean that that girl has your dress on? Yep. Could it mean that you don't like her? Yep. Could it mean you don't like the music? Yep. Could it mean you don't like your date? Absolutely. And here's a kicker. Could it mean you like him a whole lot and you just want to get out of here? She's like, yeah, it can mean that too. I said, now them last two are diametrically opposed. How are we supposed to know? I said, that's why men are confused when halfway home you want to stop and see a movie. I thought you was tired and ready to go home. But that's not where the problem lies. The problem lies when he says, I'm tired and I'm ready to go home. You know what he meant?
I'm tired, I'm ready to go home.
I'm tired, I'm ready to go home. You know what she heard? Is he not having a good time? Does he not like me? Is it something that I said? It's none of that. We're simple. He's tired. He's ready to go home.
And most of the situations you're discussing is in marriages that are healthy in some sense, or they're working. When somebody's struggling in marriage and they're dealing with either their spouse has cheated or they have stepkids, there's a lot of things that could be issues that are going on. What's the difference that they need to do versus somebody that we're talking has a unhealthy marriage, and
it's the same thing. So like there's no difference, right? The issue is still a core issue. So for example, if you have a guy and the guy's cheated, I call it like dinner. Like you eat dinner for several reasons. Number one, because you're hungry or because you're greedy. So the question is he hungry or is he greedy? If you say, well, no, we haven't been intimate in 6 months. Well, he's hungry. Well, that's part of it. Let's talk about why the intimacy is not there. Right. So, you want to focus on that he went and ate. Let's focus on you ain't feed him. Right. Now, if he's just greedy, then we have another issue to deal with. Right. Now, I'm telling you, this is the unfortunate thing. Right. When I tell you men and women are different, and this is 20 years of experience. Outside of there's some things going on with the current culture that's out of control, but outside of that, in a regular healthy marriage, a woman is more likely to step out of the marriage when she's comfortable in it. And I'm gonna let that sit with you for a minute. And if you look at it, it kind of makes sense. It's why, like, if a dude is a pimp, he ain't gonna have no problem. Why if he's a narcissist or something like that, because he's keeping her mind so occupied with all the lies that he's telling the whole lot. She didn't have the clarity of thought or the mind space to be able to do anything outside the marriage, right? But the guy who's providing, right, taking care of the house, taking care of the bills, taking care of all of that, taking care of you, and providing you a safe space. I know it's counterintuitive, right? But that woman is more likely to step out, because I've seen women wake up and say, been married for 20 years. I'm bored. No infidelity. I'm bored. Sweetie, you're not bored. You're stable. And you haven't been able to differentiate that. And so we deal with that. Why is it that you thrive in chaos, or you crave the chaos? And it usually has something to do with how they grew up, right? So I don't so much as look at like the effects of things, but the core of it. Even when it comes to like, now there are some times when I'm saying, okay, you need to get safe. When there's abuse, that kind of thing, you need to get safe. But even in those situations, even when we've seen like alcoholism or anything, it's usually that there's a base where that came from. And whenever we deal with that base, you'll be surprised. Like the addictions go away. Right. And I mean, I'm talking about some hardcore addiction. We done dealt with folks on cocaine, on heroin, which is the hardest one to kick. Like that's a physical thing to kick, right? All kind of things. But severe depression, even when it comes to like abuse, you got to realize that anger is a result of how you deal with disappointment. Right? It's just how you got an unhealthy way of dealing with disappointment. But let's talk about where the disappointment is coming from. We can change the behavior on the other side of what to do when you get disappointed, but let's talk about where the disappointment is coming from. And it's a conversation people don't have. So if a woman says, "Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I was in an abusive relationship," people just leave it there. The average man don't just come home on a Thursday and just start whooping everybody in the house for no reason. Like there's something there. And so we go deeper and find something there. Like what is there? Is a lot of times there's an antagonist at the house. Like, okay, you didn't hit him upside the head 6 times. On the 7th, he wasn't having it knocked you out. Like all of that's toxic. But we deal with why that is. And then you have sometimes situations where, women are walking on eggshells, not trying to upset this dude because he's going to explode. Well, then we deal with him. Number one, why are you exploding over this? And we go deeper to where that really came from. And we deal with that. And once again, it's usually from your childhood, right? And we deal with that very specifically, or somebody not respecting you or thinking that you're less than or whatever it is, or you're not a real man and you got that at age 5, right? Or that you got to be tough and you got to tell everybody what to do, whatever it is. We deal with that and then move forward. And a lot of times those behaviors change.
You said you've been doing it for 20 years?
20 plus years.
20 plus years. Where are the issues that are different when you were doing it, when you first started versus now, and the generations have changed? Do you think there's different issues, or are they all the same still, just a different from the core?
The core is the exact same. There is no difference in the core. The problem is that gasoline is being poured on a problem. Like let's just say, for example, let's just take the average man. Let's say a man has a lust problem, just in general, not outside of man. He got a lust issue. If you had a lust issue in 1950, there's only so many ways that you can satisfy that lust issue. In 2025, we can't count the number of ways, right? And so if you have a guy that wants to step out of his marriage in 1950 in Arlington, Texas, I mean, you got to be a real smooth talker. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to put in some work, right? In 2025, there's websites to help you do that. Right? You can go sign up for a website. Or you literally, it's the same core issue, but exacerbated in every direction. Right? You almost won't have a divorce that doesn't include some aspect of social media. We've done depositions with people getting divorced, and every single one, just talk to a divorce lawyer. Every single one has some aspect of social media come up, but the core is the same. Whether somebody says, man, she's ignoring me, she's on Facebook all day, right? The core is the same.
Outside of, say, physical abuse or an addiction problem that the one who is addicted just refuses to address, in your experience, have you found a legitimate reason for a couple to divorce?
Funny you say that. So, counselors will say this among themselves. We really usually don't say it out loud, but there's always the couple where what you want to say is, "Hey, y'all really pull out the worst in each other. Like y'all really should not." But I don't tell people to stay together. I don't tell people to get a divorce. And let me tell you why. In some of those situations, when I was like, "Man, you should run." you should like move to South Africa and not tell anybody. you should just run. I've seen some of those situations turn around completely. I've seen guys who were horrible husbands become phenomenal grandfathers. Phenomenal. Like you would never eat. Like if I went to the grandkid and said, "You know what this dude was really like," you wouldn't even know. Like there's no remnants of it at all. And so I've seen that too many times to be able to tell that. And I also say this, almost without exception, almost any two people can be married and have a great marriage. Any two. Like you can pick two random people and they can be married. As long as they understand some of the basics, they can be married and have a great marriage. But like I say, there are some times when I'm like, and it's usually situations where there is no problem. Like, I have people come see me like they got real problems. They got, I seen a situation where, there was a blended family and, they're getting ready to go out the country. And the one little girl's mom, her biological mother, just wasn't going to sign off on the passport. Right. And this girl was 17 years old. One more year, she could have did it herself. And they had to leave this little girl and take the rest of the family, on a vacation. And that's a hard decision to make. Do we all stay because your mama's tripping? Do we leave and you feel stuck out? Like that's a real issue. You know what I'm saying? Because that can really affect somebody on all sides. Like they don't want their sibling because they all in the same house, right? And are there some people with some, like somebody's mom is sick or like my mom. My mom had to take care of my stepfather, like the last years of his life, he couldn't move. He's literally in this bed. He couldn't move. And she took care of him so well. She kicked hospice out. Like that's problems. You know what I'm saying? I watched my grandfather take care of my grandmother to her last breath. You know what I'm saying? We talking about, people that have children that are born with some serious disabilities. So I'm like, there's issues out there. The worst ones are ones with no issues. No infidelity. Y'all ain't got no outside kids. Ain't nobody sick. Y'all just can't get along. And they don't realize the things that we're getting, because I get the same thing every time, because we'll talk to them together and we'll talk to them separate, because we tell them a marriage is not a thing you can work on. You can't work on, I can work on this table. I can't work on a marriage. A marriage is two individual people. And guess what? You can only work on one of those. And that's you. And you'll be surprised, the better you get, the better your marriage gets. Because you have the problem, at least, right? But we'll tell people, hey, this is what you need to do. And inevitably, they will be like, why don't you tell him this? Or why don't you tell her this? Dude, I'm not talking to her. I'm not.
Accountability is the issue? Or selfishness?
Which camera am I on? Which one? Am I on this one? For all my ladies out here, I'm on this one. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I'm over here. For all my ladies out here, I want you to listen real close. Okay, because I done seen this. Because in writing a book, I consumed thousands and thousands of hours of content of people talking about this stuff. And I found one particular thing is consistent. If you have a man that is out there online trying to advise you, but it sounds like he's talking to men, but he's talking to women, leave that dude alone. I'm going to give you an example. He's talking to women, but he's saying what men should be doing. Queen, your man should be doing this. And men, if you really want to make sure to leave her in a good space and you want to do the X, Y, and Z. And what you want to do is this, and you want to pamper her and you want to treat her as a queen. But you're not talking to men. You're talking to women who can't change men. but it sounds good to the woman. So they keep listening to you, but it's not helping you. See, I'm not going to talk to you about what your husband should be doing. I'm going to talk to your husband about what he should be doing. I'm going to talk to the wife about what she should be doing. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing you can control. But you'll find that if they do the work, the marriage gets better. But to answer your question, there are some times that I've thought to myself, maybe y'all should just call it quits. You know what I'm saying?
But you're not going to tell them that.
No, I don't tell them that.
How could you, what would you say to men to help them be more accountable and protect their marriage and not abuse their power or their authority? And what I'm saying is, especially in certain settings, you're like, oh, you're supposed to be submissive to me.
That's easy. Get in the word. Get in the word. When you stay in the word, that happens naturally. Because when you're in the word, you learn what submissiveness really means. You learn how to serve God, really. You learn how to wait on the Lord, not pause for the Lord. You learn how to wait like a waiter. You learn how to wait. You learn how to serve, right? You learn how important other people are. You know how important it is to make yourself the best version of yourself so that you can take care of others. Right. And when you learn that and you look at life totally different, right? There's a movie, Fireproof. Everybody that comes through my courses, I make them watch Fireproof. And there's one particular scene that's so easy to miss. And the actor there, he did such a great job. For those that haven't seen it, please go see it. I don't want to spoil the whole movie for you, but there is a book that he's going through, and it's 40 days to he's doing things for 40 days to kind of reconnect with his wife. And even he did. If you watch the movie, he was like, well, I got to do this. No, there is a point where they're in the room together, and she realizes that he's been doing this, right? Getting this stuff out the book, and that it's been longer than 40 days. He goes to attend to her thinking she needs something. And he is so attentive. He doesn't even pay attention to anything else. He was just like, what do you need? Like, let me take care of that for you. Like, literally not argumentative, he was only thinking, how do I take care of her? That was his only thought. And if you go and watch that one little moment, it was only 30 seconds, but it's like that one moment is the epitome of what I'm talking about. Because if you stay in this word, right, and you learn how to serve God, and you learn what it means to really serve God, and then you mess around and hit Ephesians 5:25, and you realize what it's like to be a husband, what that means. When he says, husbands, love your wives, let me help y'all with something. It never says wives, love your husband. Respect your husband. Matter of fact, evidently, women don't even know how to love their husbands, because Titus 2 says, let the older women teach the younger women how to love their husbands. If I was writing the Bible, I would not have included this part. Because then he got deep, because the love he uses is the agape love. That's the love Jesus, he's like, I gave my only begotten son. Well, he died. Hold on a second. And just in case you didn't know that, he goes deeper. Paul says, love your husbands as Christ loved the church. And you're like, wait a minute.
Love your wife as Christ loved the church.
Yeah. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. And then if you wasn't listening, he goes forward. And he said, and gave himself. Man, how come she ain't got to do that for me? Because that's the implication. How come she ain't got to give herself for me? Bro, I called you first. Everything else. A woman is made to fall in line. She's made for that. Find a woman who she gets with a guy who likes rock music. All of a sudden, she's liking rock music. She get with another dude, he's like jazz music. She's liking jazz music. She's built to follow, as long as you're leading. Period. Women like, my woman won't follow me. Well, okay. Are you leading? That's my first question. It don't matter if nobody's following. Are you leading? Right? Are you leader worthy? And so whenever you get in that word and you start understanding how to serve God and how to serve his people, a humbleness will fall on you, because you realize you do not measure up. Not even close. You're like, man, I need to get myself together. You'll be like, man, I'm glad my wife is still here, because I'm messing up in all these areas. Let me fix it before she realizes how messed up I am.
In another situation, let's say that you're married and your families want to step in and make decisions in your marriage.
Yeah.
Your in-laws,
Outlaws.
in-laws. And what's your advice on that when you've got overbearing in-laws that they claim they're wanting to help you make decisions
Right.
in your marriage?
As with most things, it starts in the very beginning, right? And so I've heard people say before, I'm not marrying the family. You are marrying the family.
Yes.
I need you to know that. If you hate her mother, you might hate her because that's who raised her. You need to realize that, right? For guys that are like, man, her dad never liked me. I asked him the same question. Did you ask him for her? I've never heard a guy say, I hate the father-in-law and I asked for her hand in marriage. It's like the song, I'm going to marry her anyway. Like, he's not supposed to like you. You stole from him. I'm not going to like somebody who stole from me. The man that married my daughter, man, I told a story today in church because I had him come up there. I was giving him a pound. I'm like, man, I appreciate it. When he was ready to marry my daughter, he came to me first. Not only did he come to me first, because that's regular, right? Used to be regular. He came to me first. He grabbed the ring out of his pocket. He put it in my hands. He said, sir, I want you to keep that ring till you think I'm ready. Now, how am I complain about this boy? Right? He said, keep it till you think I'm ready.
Now we know why you like this boy.
I like him a whole lot.
And so, in your opinion, it starts at the first.
It starts there, right? Did first of all, did you steal this woman? Did you steal this man? Right? Did you say if you met the mama after the marriage, that's a problem. They already probably don't like you. Right? Already. Just on rip. If my daughter came to me and she said, hey, I got married last month to a dude I never met, I already don't like him. Because you don't respect me enough to even talk to me before you took something from me. Right? You ain't even going to have a conversation before you steal my car. Right? You just stole it in the middle of the night. Right? And I didn't even know you stole it because I was away and I came back. My car ain't here. Oh, yeah, I stole it last week. So that's number one. You got to start things right. Start with a good foundation. A lot of times we got cracks, not because the wall is messed up, because your foundation is messed up. Right? That's number one. Okay. I have a phenomenal relationship with what we call in-laws. I don't even call them in-laws. My wife's mom looks at me as her son. Her father just passed away last year. He looked at me as his son. Right? They would call me and ask me for advice. My mom looks at my wife as her daughter. I bet not do her daughter wrong. That's her daughter. That was her first daughter. It's my wife. Right? But it's because we integrated that day one, right? I didn't hide my family from her. She didn't hide from, that's day one. Now, number two, I also realize I have a relationship and responsibility to everybody in my house. There are some things. So early on, something happened, right? And being transparent, like her dad had said something, and I had just got married. Her dad said something about me driving her car. He said it to her though. And I'm like, everything in my house is mine. Everything at my address is mine. You know what I'm saying? But I realized something. Okay, this is important. I realized, and I didn't realize it to this moment for whatever reason, to that moment, is that he's still paying the car insurance on that car. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fix that. Like, I'm gonna because I asked for your daughter. You said yes. That means I take on everything, right? So I'm like, hey, we ain't got to worry about the insurance because I didn't realize it was happening. I just didn't think about it. Switch it over to my insurance. So that's a little bitty thing, right? But it's saying, no, I got it. He asked me to do one thing. He asked me to take care of his daughter, and I took care of his daughter to the day he died. And he will tell you, like, you taking good care of my daughter. You even took my daughter around the world. I said, I promise you that I was going to take care of your daughter, right? So I ain't got no problem with them because I take care of their daughter, right? Now, when you stop taking care of their daughter, that's when they start having a bunch of input, okay? But at the same time, you have to say, I have a responsibility to the people inside my house. That's all I have. I don't care if nobody like me. I don't care if the whole world thinks I'm a horrible husband and a horrible father. I do not care. Right. When I say the things that I say, sometimes they're like, man, I would hate to be your wife. I'm thinking, shh, you haven't talked to her. My wife has lived a fairy tale. Talk to her. And now the book has come out, so people are talking to her. They're like, no, he right. You know what I'm saying? She has lived a fairy tale life. Now, if she said I was a horrible husband, I might be hurt. Because I'm like, man, I spent my life trying to give to, you know what I'm saying? I went and learned a bunch of stuff about women. I remember one time she had said, should we talk about massages? She didn't say it like this because she's too sweet of a woman, but I'm here to tell you, here's how I heard it. She said, my massages were trash, doc. Trash.
That meant they were trash.
Trash. That's what they meant. She didn't say it like that, but that's what I heard. Yeah. They trash. I went out and took classes on how to massage, right? She didn't even know it. I didn't even tell her. One day, I grabbed the oil, grabbed the baby oil. Then they had one left, Diddy had came through.
I was about to say, no Diddy. No Diddy.
We got one left. Some dude came through here and bought 1,000 bottles. We had one left in the back.
Come on, man.
So I came in, got her all oiled up, and I went to work. She was like, what the heck is that? Where you been? Where you learn all this from? Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I got you covered, right? And to do that for her, mind you, I'm giving her a massage. It don't physically do anything for me. But like literally pleasing her is like, that's like air for men. It's why we don't want to hear, I don't need you. Like that's the worst thing you tell a man. Like say, no, I need you every day. Then he gonna rise to that occasion. And so doing that kind of stuff like helps that. But you got to say, how do I take care of what's in here? Everybody's not going to agree. I said something earlier today. My wife homeschooled 4 kids. That sounds good now. When we first decided to homeschool, wasn't a black family we knew homeschooling. And they all said the same thing. Y'all gonna mess your kids up. They not gonna have any social skills. Meet my kids. Meet anyone. You could talk to my kids when they were 10. They have a full conversation with a grown person. But you have to say, I have a responsibility for what's in the house, and I can't let what's on the outside of the house affect what's on the inside of the house. But you also have to be true to yourself, right? Because sometimes there's if I'm calling my mother-in-law and borrowing $20 every other day, she has to say so. No, I'm just saying, like that's why they saying that, no. Right? So, but when I'm calling my mother-in-law and saying, "Hey, look, we head to Belize. We got a mansion on the beach. If you want to roll, I got you. Just holler at me. I got you. All I got to do is say you want to go." That's a different conversation. We just took. I was saying that facetiously. I didn't realize we actually did that for my wife's auntie. She called me one day. She was like, "Hey, I want to travel with y'all one day. Y'all be gone." I'm like, "Oh, where you want to go?" She said, "Where you going next?" I said, "Let's go to Belize. We got a couple mansions. We're gonna stay down there. It's gonna be off the chain." She's like, "For real?" I said, "Yeah." We get down there. She was like, "This is amazing." The owner of the house came over. My boy. She was like, "This looks like one of the houses on the shows." He's like, "What show you been watching?" She said, "I watch Island Hunter." He said, "No, this is the house. This ain't like that. This is the house. It was on that show, right?" And mind you, she's 70. Okay. In the middle of the trip, she started calling me father. Whatever father wants, whatever you want to do, whatever you want. Why? Because I got you. Right. And it's not all about finance, but I'm just saying, I got you. You want to eat something? We got a private chef. He gonna fix whatever you want. Right. You want to go somewhere? We got you covered. I got you. Right. She was like, "I'm gonna do whatever you want to do." You'll be surprised that everybody around you will acquiesce when you handle up. But when you're not handling up, everybody want to get in your business. I'm like, look, and don't get me wrong, I had a lot of broke years.
Yeah, we hadn't always been like this.
Yeah, don't let the smooth taste fool you.
Exactly.
But I still had to say, how do I handle mine inside of here to the best of my ability? And so if you're not financing my life, then you don't have the ultimate say. And then you got to be honest. Like, are they saying this? Do they have a point? Right? Are they saying you need to get your money right because you keep borrowing money from me every day? Then they got a point. You know what I mean?
You got to take everything in consideration.
Yeah.
And see where you're really at.
Yeah.
And if it's valid.
Yeah. Is it valid? Because it might be.
We're gonna have to invite Dr. Washington back. We've touched on Dr. Washington, the mentor, We've talked on Dr. Washington, the marriage counselor. That kind of took him off. He took a hard right into Pastor Washington real quick.
Yeah.
And so we didn't even get to touch on the fact that you had political ambitions.
Oh yeah, still do.
And I wanted to talk about that when church and politics and things. So I just think we're going to have to do that another time. Again, the book is Men Want a Three-Piece, the ultimate guide to understanding your man. Please, how can they get this book?
Probably I've been waiting to say this my whole life. You can get it wherever books are sold. But and it's true. But if you go to the website menwantathreepiece.com, it's probably the best place for you to get it. So menwantathreepiece.com, you can get the audio book there, you can get the physical book. We have a deal where you can even get my for the guys that are out there. I did a book that's talking about 100 different dates. And so I have a scaled down version of that is 100 date ideas. So for the brothers that are out there, you're trying to figure out what to do with your girl, you get that for free with the bundle. For the ladies that are out there and you're like, my man is just not creative at all. Look, get the bundle, hand him the list. He's got 100 things to choose from. He can figure something out.
Also plug the game.
Oh, Ebonyopoly. Yeah, so Ebonyopoly, it is we call it the black version of Monopoly. So what we've done is we took the Monopoly board and we changed it up and made it to where it is representative of a lot of different things that are important in Black history. Most of them from the Reconstruction era, so like 1865 to 1877. So as a result, instead of things like railroads, we have stops on the Underground Railroad. We got HBCUs there. We've got Black Wall Street, Negro Leagues. All of these things are represented there. Even all the chance and chess cards that are there, they're all real scenarios researched down to a person. So when you get that card and something good has happened to you, we can tell you who that happened to, or something bad, we can tell you who that happened to. So it's a great game. You can get that at ebonyopoly.com, or depending on if you're in America, you can probably go to a Black-owned bookstore in your area, and most likely they have it there.
Man, Dewayne, we want to say thank you, man, for coming and sharing with us, brother.
Oh, thank you.
I'm telling you, I learned so much about you. Like I said, I just met you today, and man, I learned a whole lot. And man, I look forward to having you back.
Praise
Thank
God.
you for coming
Absolutely.
and sharing with us and sharing with the community what you had to say. And like
Anytime.
I said, thank you, brother.
Anytime. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So that's it today, guys.
Oh, man.
If you like this, go back and check out our last episode. We were talking about deconstruction of the church. It is phenomenal as well. So for today, that's it. This is the Heart of the Matter. I'm Scott.
I'm Marcus. See you next time.